I absolutely love people that choose the route of entrepreneurialism, of business ownership. It's always been something that's fascinated me at my core. The idea that you can control your financial outcome greater with the business that you own. In fact, for me, that started when I was about 13 years old and started mowing grass as a kid. And I realized the more yards I mowed, the harder I worked, the more money I made. And that's always been an appeal to me. That ended up growing into a massive lawn maintenance company. I ended up starting an auctioning company and got my auctioneer's license as well, helped paid for my first year of college with that concept that I came up with. And then later got into real estate. And I've always been fascinated by just this idea that the harder you work, the more you're going to get paid, the more you're going to be rewarded, the more you serve, the more you give, the more value you create, the more you get rewarded. I remember when I started my software company back in 1997, I just hired one developer and he and I sat in this little office in a kind of a marginal part of town and started cranking out code and figuring out how we were going to design it. At the time, I never really thought of myself as a CEO. It wasn't really like a dream of mine, like I want to be a CEO. I never even, like the first time I made a business card and put CEO on it, I was like, oh, what does a CEO do exactly? I just, start an idea, hire some people, and you run a company. So it was quite a learning process. As that company grew, and we ended up having like 50 or 60 employees in a 14,000 square foot office serving thousands of customers around the world, you really realize that the leadership of a CEO is much more complicated. And you end up getting pulled in all these different directions because CEO stuff is visionary stuff, inspiration, communicate to the team and set the agenda of what you want your executives to do. And the process of learning how to be an effective CEO really took me decades to do. It was quite a learning curve, especially for a guy like me who's bootstrapping my companies. When I meet somebody who's the CEO of another company and they were hired as CEO for a company that's already super successful and has a massive budget, I often look at that and go, okay, how could you even possibly know about what it actually takes to build? Now, no judgment on anybody else who's in that route, because different companies are at different levels, and that skill set really does vary a lot between the size of the company, the age of the company, and how much innovation they're doing. But for me, it was really always about the freedom to innovate, the freedom to inspire, and getting people excited about what I see about the future. Personally, I've always been drawn to concepts that improve people's lives. And I'm the type of person, I won't get out of bed in the morning if I don't feel like what I do is contributing. And I just can't think of anything I'd rather do than to lead a company that helps people and impacts the world. That's why I'm CEO.